Hey everybody, it's Triple L coming in with a Monday night upload for Shokugeki no Soma chapter 305, otherwise known as Food Wars chapter 305, Surpassing Dad, which I think is a kind of funny little chapter title given the content we got in the chapter. As you recall, last week I made a bet that, we were in this chapter we were going to find out how many chapters Soma were left, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, I'm dumb. I was really sure too. Like, dang it. Okay, whatever. I'm wrong. Whatever. Is this good? Is this good news? Well, I don't know. I think. Well, actually, after this chapter, you look at it and you look at how much content that the author gave us. Like, I don't know. He seems to make it seem like he can afford to use up a chapter doing nothing. So it makes you feel like, oh yeah, there's probably more chapters of Soma left. But, yeah, just another week of Soma. Yeah, I was wrong. Okay, that aside, let's actually talk about the chapter, chapter 305. How good was it? Well, I think this was just a hype chapter. Just objectively, it's just a hype chapter, and we can kind of do that by just going through the chapter page by page. Page 1, absolutely useless. It's just people calling out, oh, Asahi's there. Page 2, still useless. It's a page of Asahi just looking good and people just hyping him up more. Page 4, kind of just a few recaps, Erina looking sad, and then people just reiterating things. Page 5 just showing that the minor characters have shown up, the characters that everyone forgot about. Yo man, look, Nikumi had a power. It's funny too, because these guys are talking in the terms that have been introduced in this arc. Nikumi's skin is able to detect minute changes in temperature. How is that not a freakish talent? Like, come on. Let's just face it, Shokugeki no Soma was running on freakish talent from the beginning, but I digress. Page 6 involved Joichiro showing up, and this part I find it funny. Like, Joichiro's just there to talk, pretty much recap what happened in previous chapters. That is, Joichiro recapping that, oh, WGO's head is actually Senzaimon's his daughter. So that's funny. And then we have like a little quip from Gin saying that he was trying to dig up information on Asahi. It's really funny that Asahi, the man who thinks that kidnapping Erina and taking her to a collection of 8 dumpster fires, is somehow able to get more information than a guy who's relatively high up in Totsuki's power scheme. Totsuki, who is otherwise known as one of the, just one of the top places for food in all of the world. But hey, whatever. So that was page 6. Page 7 was just a stare down between Joichiro and Asahi. Page 8 was just Asahi saying that he has Joichiro's knife from when he was Saiba. And then page 10 is the continuation of a flashback. Page 11 is again a flashback, with no text there, just these guys staring each other down. Page 11 is just people reacting to the fact that Asahi beat Joichiro, because as we find out, the minor cast didn't know, so we waste a page on that. Page 13 is Asahi just villain talking Soma, talking about how he's gonna beat Soma with his dad's knife. Page 12 is Soma realizing, oh man, now I can use this fight as a proxy fight for my dad, so I can accomplish one of my goals from the very beginning in the series. If I beat Asahi right now, it means I can beat my dad as he was in his prime. That's pretty much the logic that's set up there. Page 14 is Mana hyping up the challenge. Page 15 is still just hyping up the challenge and exposition on the challenge. And then finally, page 16 is Mana saying what the challenge is, with everyone reacting to how extreme it is. Page 17 is Asahi pulling out a bunch of knives while everyone else is looking really excited. Page 18 is people still looking really just shocked and shivering even, and Asahi pulling food. And page 19 is Soma just tying his bandana, or his headband, as everyone else is still shivering at the shock that Asahi is too awesome. Guys, look man, no matter how you look at that, what did we get of value there? One, maybe, is just the confirmation that Asahi has Joichiro's knife, and 2 is the challenge. there is really nothing else in this chapter that I think is worthwhile any which way, especially when you look at how much of the content is redone content or just reiterated content. First off, any content that involves people just giving one-word reactions to something going on screen is useless. That has no, like, what are we gonna do with that? Erina reiterating that she wants Soma to lose. What are we gonna do with that? Already information. A flashback page of something that we already saw before with no real new context adding within that particular page. Again, also very useless. Overall, this was a very useless chapter of Shokugeki no Soma with maybe 3 or 4 pages of actual worthwhile content. It is important to note though that the art was really pretty. Like Mana's face when she like says her big idea for the final challenge, that was pretty cool. Like I like her face, and like Asahi's art during the chapter also was really good. The art in Shokugeki no Soma usually is very good, but this is just one of those situations where this is not great in terms of the dialogue. It's not great in terms of the story sequence. Like, we effectively wasted a chapter doing nothing except establishing what the criteria was going to be, and then showing that all the characters that are moderately relevant are there. And you know, it's also awkward. Why is Joichiro right there, like a few steps away from Asahi? Why is he in the tournament area? Like, the tournament's been doing this whole time, but it's just, it's lazy. You know why it's happening. It's because the author needs to position the characters there, but it doesn't make sense to just have these guys just standing there. But this has been a problem with the entire arc because they've been doing this, so at least there's consistency there with the author. Like, he isn't doing anything strange by having those 3 characters there. Everyone is allowed to walk onto that stage, apparently. Heck, I find it really funny that classic judges are allowed to just come on stage just so they can react to whatever is being cooked. I find it really funny, I find it silly, but I also find it as a sign of just, this isn't good. This is just kind of rushed and things have to happen because the story needs them to happen, as opposed to them coming up organically. So as you can tell, this isn't a very positive impression that I've taken away from this chapter. But it's just because, like, arguably, objectively, there's very little things here that make for compelling story. Well, there's one more element that is a chapter title. You know, surpassing, what was it, surpassing that or something? I think it was, let me just, I'll reread it just to make sure that I'm not screwing it up. It was, the chapter title was Surpassing That. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. Now when I see that, when I see a character becoming the proxy by which a long-term goal can be accomplished, that is Asahi becoming Joichiro, you know, that is a sign that things are wrapping up, usually. Especially with everything else in the context of Shokugeki no Soma, that should be a giant red flag. Especially when Soma himself points it out that if he beats Asahi in a way he's surpassing his dad, those kind of shenanigans are because the author can't dedicate time to actually have Soma versus Joichiro. At least that's how you read that when you have the context of Shokugeki no Soma. Can the author still prove us wrong? Yeah, technically, yeah, he totally can. That said, I still find it pretty funny. You know, I still find it pretty funny. One thing that I do want to say though, is that Asahi's pretty much set himself up for failure, because we know that one of the big flaws with Joichiro, you know, was that he was too aggressive when he was younger, when he was in his Saiba phase. And Saiba is the name that the kid took. In other words, Asahi is missing the development that Joichiro got when he met Soma's mother. So effectively, you're having a fight against past Joichiro and kind of new Joichiro in the form of Soma, because Soma has really inherited the qualities that his dad had after meeting his mother. Like, he's inherited his father and his mother's love. So that's something that's important to kind of note there, and that might be the thematics that we're going to be going into with this final battle between Asahi and Soma. That's probably, oh my words, that's probably where we're heading, and I wouldn't be surprised if the conclusion is something along those lines, that there was more to Joichiro than just his Saiba phase. And, you know, as I'm reading the chapter over and I'm seeing that flashback of Joichiro leaving the kid with a knife, you know, Joichiro could have phone called the kid. We're not in... I know that in stories, characters need to do this thing where they say goodbye forever until the other character comes back to enact their revenge or express their resentment. But in the modern world, you know, you could have realistically have expected people to just like try and keep in touch, you know, send emails sometimes. Joichiro was a chef. He probably could have afforded to spare a little bit of money for the kid. You know, anything would have been better than anything would have been better than the career path that Asahi chose now. But you know, that's just story dramatics. It's just funny. It's just we live in a world now where things like this could be avoided if you just pay a little bit more attention. That said, Joichiro is also still a young guy. You know, Joichiro probably didn't ask Reddit what he should do in that situation, so maybe he didn't really know what to do. And he was also in grief, most likely. He was also very sad with his wife passing away or about to pass away. No, I think at this point in time it was already kind of happening. So you know, like, there's reasons to say why things had to happen the way they did, but I don't think Joichiro's winning any parenting awards. And honestly, Shonen Jump characters usually aren't going to be winning parenting awards. Like, probably right now, one of the best parents that we have is, in terms of main character parents, probably Izuku's mom. But I digress. Overall, like, the chapter does something story-wise which establishes a end goal for Soma that he can accomplish here. It gives us a mean of getting the Joichiro versus Soma fight without actually having Joichiro do it. So, you know, is the author gonna follow up on that? Honestly, the author could have a situation where we go with Asahi, we deal with Erina, and we go back to Joichiro. Because if we talk about this idea of Joichiro growing as a person after his Saiba days, there is still the justification that Soma can beat his father. But otherwise, you know, he set it up where it can go either way right now. If the series is really going to be ending relatively soon, this will be fine enough from a thematic point of view, although it's kind of cheap. If not, we still have nice content that we can look forward to in the future. So with this chapter, what am I expecting for the future chapters? Well, given that the author felt he had the resources to be able to just spread this out, to expand on this in classic Shokugeki no Soma style, I would say that the Soma versus Asahi fight, maybe it'll last 2 chapters, maybe, unless the author pulls like a really fast one next time. And then after that, I'm still expecting the Erina situation to unfold. Like, we still need to get Soma to taste Erina's food. So I think we're still heading there. We'll really have to see. So that puts us at like 3 chapters until we see Erina versus Soma, which I'm pretty excited about. So, guys, let me know what you thought down below. And let's call it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day. And yeah, I was wrong.